So let us start. Again, I'm very happy to see you and to hear you. And we're going to talk about so many amazing things today. And the very first thing is so you've been touring with Kamelot. And here, right in the very beginning, I want to say that I'm a huge fan of Kamelot. And actually, I discovered you as a singer when I was searching for the covers for my like top favorite song, March of Mephisto, and it was
Oh,
quite long ago.
it was.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, when I see you performing them, I mean, this song on stage with them, it's very uplifting and heartwarming for me, and how it is for you.
it's uh it's surreal somehow because I remember being so much inspired by this band when I started with music, when I was going to rehearse with my very first band. We were listening to Camelot, we were going to some shows, sometimes we were talking about how much we like their music, and now performing with them on stage is just incredible.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess you've been asked this already, but is the title Ad Infinitum somehow connected to the song? Yeah, I knew that.
Definitely. Yes,
Really, for me,
yes.
it was somehow pretty obvious because, as I've already told you, I mean, for me, your story as a creator is interlaced with Camelot, and so okay.
Yes, yes. Well, when I was looking for a band name, I searched for so long, but somehow this name was there in the beginning, and but I put it aside because I thought there was a band that was called Ad Infinitum already, and then I was searching, 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 and then I realized, oh, but this band is not active anymore, so maybe we can just use this name. Plus, I don't think they were doing metal, or I don't remember exactly. So I loved this name from the beginning, and it was indeed inspired by the intro of March of Mephisto.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Great. But we're here. I mean, I think we can talk about how amazing Camelot is for quite a long time, but we're here actually to discuss your upcoming album, Chapter 3, Downfall. So, traditionally for Ad Infinitum, this album is closely connected to some historical era, which is obviously ancient Egypt this time. But I mean, as I understand the whole concept, it's also very important to emphasize what personality plays like the key role on the album. So, who is it this time?
So this time we decided to go for a powerful female character that influenced our history. And the one that felt the most inspiring was is Cleopatra. And of course, when you talk about Cleopatra, you have to also talk about the gods of ancient Egypt, the mythology.
Mhm. Yeah. So, when you mentioned Cleopatra, I immediately recalled two actresses who performed this strong and magnetic woman. So, who was better Cleopatra for you, Monica Bellucci or Elizabeth Taylor?
I have to say I have a stronger connection with Monica Bellucci
Hmm.
because I've watched her playing Cleopatra so many times that I have to go for her.
Yeah, me too, actually. I mean, when I asked you this question, I realized that probably maybe it's not so fair to compare these two iconic women, but for some reason, I just wanted to ask about that. And so, if we speak about ancient Egypt in general, do you believe in all those, let's say, stories about the curse of the pyramids? Because I know I'm very much interested in history in general. That is why your band is really very important for me as a history nerd. And for example, recently I heard that there was a new corridor discovered in one of the Great Pyramids, and it immediately made me think about if these stories about all those curses are still relevant, or are these like like superstitions from the past. So what do you think about all that?
It's difficult to say because there's so much that we don't know, and I like this about the whole story. Um, Also, about architecture and how everything was built, and how we still today wonder how it was possible to build such pyramids um, with the technology back then, and all these things that they thought about, like you said, secret chambers and passages, and how everything was thought, and all the legends around it. I find it extremely fascinating, and I cannot tell you if it's like how true, how relevant it is. I just like to believe that there's so many things that we cannot explain.
Yeah, so everything is still surrounded with mystery. And that is why Egypt is so enchanting. If we go back to the album from the musical and the lyrical standpoint, I sincerely hope that there will be song by song explanation like you did in the past.
Yeah,
But now, can you just pick maybe three of favorite songs from the album and give us a brief explanation, maybe just to dive into this atmosphere?
sure. So I'm still planning to do a track by track, um, because I think that people will be interested if they like to dig into our lyrics. But if I have to choose three songs, I would pick Upside Down first, which is basically Cleopatra coming back from exile in Syria to Egypt to take back the throne from her brother, together with Caesar during the Battle of the Nile, and where her brother Ptolemy drowned, and it's why it's called Upside Down. Um, the second one that I would choose is Under the Burning Skies, because it's about the final moments of Cleopatra, and it's very interesting when you compare the stories from movies, series, etc., to what historians tend to believe, because very often in movies, in romances, you hear that she committed suicide by getting bit by a snake.
Snake. Uh-huh.
And historians tend to say that yes, she did commit suicide, but by just poisoning. And this song is about her final moments where she lays down on the bed of roses.
I want to know generally about this whole chapter thing. I'm very much curious if this um, titling of the albums with chapters is like a part of an internal concept of the band, or are you just planning to create like a huge compilation of concept albums and then just focus on something else?
We don't know yet, actually. We started this because we saw these chapters as chapters in the band's history. And
Mm-hmm.
since they were all somehow concept albums, we thought it was a great way to put them together. However, we don't rule out the possibility to change at some point for future albums to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So also, I remember that your debut album had an incredible acoustic edition, which didn't follow after the second album. And is there any acoustic feature for the Downfall chapter?
Mm, we haven't discussed this, simply because the acoustic album was made during the pandemic, because we had so much time, we couldn't
Uh-huh.
tour, and we wanted to offer something special to the people who discovered our first album. And I think it will depend very much on the plans, touring plans, concerts, and also if we are inspired to write new material, for example, maybe we will just go to the studio and write chapter 4.
Okay. So now, when you have a choice, it's probably better to do some metal stuff. But acoustic was incredible. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I really hope that there will be some acoustic tunes for Downfall as well. Um, the next question, can you please tell me about your dancing background?
Oh,
Because I don't know, I'm a dancer myself, and I really think that it's obvious that you do have some dancing background. You really stand out both in video clips and on stage with your moves.
well, thank you so much. Um, I actually started with gymnastics, and
Mm.
then I went into dance. But I did 10 years of gymnastics. I don't even remember when I started. Probably when I was 6 years old, or maybe even younger. Probably actually when I was 5. And then I went to hip hop classes when I
Mm-hmm.
was, I think, 15, yeah, for a few years. I stopped, and then I started again recently to do both pole dance and exotic
Mm.
dance.
Yeah, how's pole dance going? Because I myself am doing air gymnastics, like
Yeah,
aerial silks and aerial hoop.
yeah, yeah. I love it. It you work your entire body.
Yes.
And I wanted to try actually the hoops. There's
Uh-huh.
actually I think there's a class tomorrow. Maybe I'll go. But this is very very nice because it's actually there's only, I think, we're small classes at the same time. There's like 9 or 10 poles plus the instructor, and it's super positive. It's a very feminine environment with you know it brings out the beauty in everyone, and you feel just super comfortable with your body. It's very body positive, and you work out, but you also dance and you have a good time with people and you feel good about yourself. It's a great great way for me to disconnect while working out, while socializing.
Uh-huh. How do you handle pain and bruises? Because I did
Oh,
pole dancing as well,
oh
and
my
I know
god.
how it feels.
So when I don't do it for a while, the first time is always horrible because with the grip,
Yes.
the skin, like for example, especially behind the knees or um here, it's
Hmm.
oh my god, it burns. It really burns. However, the more you do it, the less it burns. So you better keep practicing regularly, and then it goes okay.
Hmm. Yeah, so if you try aerial hoop someday, it will be a bit worse.
Oh my
I
god.
can tell you. Yes, because the surface is thinner and it gets stuck into the body in a more hardcore way, I would say.
Oh, nice.
Uh, but yeah, so I warned you, but it's worth it because I mean, the workout situation is absolutely the same, but I mean, it looks amazing. I really think that you could even try to do it in some of your future music videos. It would be absolutely stunning.
Yeah, actually, that would be really cool.
Yeah. So the next question, I actually wanted to discuss a little bit your the Dark Side of the Moon project. But to be honest, I sincerely hope that you will do some interviews before the release of the debut album as well, so we could talk more about it because it's like a whole geek situation here. But I just wanted to ask, so was it important for you? Was it a conscious decision to divide that Ad Infinitum is like a history metal, but not Sabaton type of history metal, but like history through the feelings, emotions, and thoughts of people, I would say. And the dark side of the moon is, as I've said, like geek metal.
I actually realized when you started your question that it was history, fantasy. I never thought about it before.
Really?
So it was not conscious at all.
Okay. Well, because when I discovered that Infinitum at first, for some reason, it really gave some vibe that there will be history connected to some mysterious type of thing. And that's exactly how it was in the Legacy album, I would say, because Dracula story can't be divided from its mysterious part. But generally, yeah, I really think that the Dark Side of the Moon is more like fantasy, fantastic type of story.
Yeah, definitely. It's based on mostly classics of cinematography, of TV shows. I mean, soundtracks.
Hmm.
Soundtracks also from video games. So definitely, it's like you're diving into fantasy the whole time, and even during when you listen to the songs that we wrote, like the original songs that you have on the album, it's also total fantasy. It stays in this universe, and it's like you said, it's very different than Ad Infinitum, both with the themes and with the music, actually.
Let's dream out loud. What is your biggest musical goal by far?
My biggest musical goal. That's very interesting. Um, I just, I think I have some goals for my band to be able to play bigger places, to headline bigger places, and to grow as a band and as people together. Like we're a great team. I consider them like almost as my brothers, and just to be able to achieve something together, and and do it with fun and with love for what we do is the goal. But I don't know, I don't have like a specific target. It's more like, now we have this goal that is within our reach, and then when we're there we have another one and then another one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit, I always describe it a little bit like a video game. You go to the next level and then the next level and then the next level, etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I got you. I really like this explanation. You always must have something to achieve, because when you achieve your goal and you don't have any other goals, like what else would you do then?
Right.
But that is how the life goes, I think. Well, actually, that was my last question, and I very much appreciate that we finally have managed to talk. I was thinking about it for quite a long time, and I'm very, very glad that you really appeared to be such a nice person. And I personally want to thank you, yeah, for just everything that you do from like a historical standpoint and from this like geek standpoint.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was really, really nice to chat with you, and I hope that the historian in you will be satisfied with the album.
I actually have already heard the album. I'm writing the review for
Oh, okay.
Chaoszine. And yeah, that is why I told you that I'm looking forward to hear your like song by song
Ah,
explanation.
all right. Now I get it. Okay.
Yes, so it's very, very curious for me.
Nice.
So yes, have a great day, and just happy upcoming release, and hopefully see you maybe quite soon for the
Yeah,
interview about the dark side of the moon. Yes.
with pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.